Okay, so we'll open the meeting, the DRB meeting for June 25th, 2025. My name is Jim Roberts. I'm acting chair of the DRB. So the actual chair is here if he does. Dolan is on my right, and Bruce is on the left. This is only administrator. We're starting with application 2482C for a hip camp. Barbara. I assume you're Barbara. Is anybody else going to testify on this application? Sure. So I have to swear everybody in may testify on this. So the Barbara and your name, sir? And yeah. So I'll swear you on both at the same time. You swear to tell the truth to the best of your knowledge under penalty of perjury regarding this matter. You affirm that, Barbara.
Yes.
All right. So it's 8 campsites consisting of 1 fire pit, 1 bench each, located on fields and wood edges. All but 1 not visible from the road, open from April to November. Potable water available, 1 composting toilet, 1 portable extras can be ordered. So looking at this table of uses, I believe every other time that we've addressed this, which is I believe a couple of times, other times we've referred to it as lodging. It's the closest we come to actual campsites here. Essentially, it's the same as lodging. And lodging with less than 10 guest rooms is a conditional use for the rural residential area. So that means it's allowed with conditions. There can be no conditions, or we may add conditions. In the past, we have added some minor conditions. So, do you have any testimony for us in excess of what I just read?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't need to be called a campus. That's just where they are listed.
Right. So it's a campground, essentially. Yes.
So, you know, there's no structures.
So they're all primitive campsites.
But people will bring their RVs if they have them. Yeah. No cabins. It's pretty low key. Only in the summer, you know, there's people couldn't get to them.
Sure.
I mean, unless they wanted to hike in camping.
So you would allow it during the winter if somebody wanted to then?
I just leave it open. I've had it maybe one couple or person. They might require. And we just tell them it's going to the driveway. Just if they have them, they don't think they might have like a pickup truck with a camper in there.
Do you prefer to modify your application? Right here, it's going to be April to November. When we approve something, it's going to be April to November, unless you make a modification to it.
I could. I mean, it's just so seldom that anybody would come mean, I could just leave it. April to November to. May.
I don't know, if somebody just shows up and they pitches a tent or a camper or something like once a month or something like that, would that even come underneath this?
Some of the money.
I mean, they don't just show up. It would be if I had my listing open all year,
Okay.
so I know they would come.
You're part of the bit, you might want to explain to him, to that. If they take the reservations.
You make the reservations.
Organization.
Mhm.
It's essentially like Airbnb for
Yes.
campers. I think the first campground that we talked about over on off Jones Lane or something like that, they were doing it at campground.
Each Washington.
Where they, when it's that, that's good there too.
Yeah, there's several, I mean, if you go online and look, there's several in Wolcott and Craftsbury and Hyde Park and over. And doing it that way, it's, there's no really sign and you have to put out. And there's a map there. So I have a map on the porch if they need it. But on the site, there's a map so we can see where to go. And then I have, you probably see, just have some simple signs. So it makes on the road. That directs them to their site and.
They drive right to the site.
Then they have to come to the house to get water. And oftentimes they don't because they'll bring water in.
Do you have any policy on like quiet times?
Yeah, like, I think it's 10 to 8.
That's consistent with town ordinances, isn't it? Yeah. Do we have any? Campsites and what that we put on that?
Yeah, and I gave her copies.
Is there one that we could look at? The RV board.
I have.
Already strong.
That's there.
Boston.
I don't know this.
Okay. So these are stairs conditions. These are the conditions that we, just wondering if we had. So when we approved both Bob and Sarah's, yeah. One over, up Jones Way, we put conditions on it ourselves that were. These are all conditions that probably also. The quiet hours, 10 p.m. to 8 p.m. all that. Probably equivalent to ours, but I don't think we put all these conditions in.
You're taking hours of operation.
They,
Are they in the minutes from those? Are they in the minutes
They should be.
from those applications? Yeah.
Uh, so, no.
Let's go.
Do you have any testimony you'd like to give at this point?
Sure. So. I don't know if you understand, this is a very, very large property. For only 8 sites. Although I'm not a. Landowner bordering it. Walk through the woods probably puts me closest to the area where the major campers. I had no issue with police. This is Tom Hill, he's one of the neighbors who does border the property. Good friend of mine, Tim Darling, could be here tonight, he's from Richmond. He has no problem. If things continue the way they have been, I support the West 100%. I just don't think there has to be a lot of conditions until you walk up and take a look, because I understand you're trying to be consistent, but there's overkill sometimes too when it's area. It's a modus where she is and as scattered as people are. And as far as winter camping, they can have up to 3.5 feet of snow and they can get out there, otherwise they're in her door there. So I don't see a reason to extend that to December because we park driveway. Anybody can do that without equipment. So. Yeah, we have no problems, and if I ever did it, I'm gonna go talk to Barb and I'm sure it'll get rectified.
Yeah, the conditions that we put on it are. That's why I'm kind of looking them up, you know, to kind of review what we have done in the past. In those 2 situations, there were neighbors that had objections, but were largely overruled, I believe.
We got most of our neighbors right here, and we have no issues.
And also I might add to that is East Hill Wildlife Management. That's right, and there's like 900 acres there. And so from my property, you can just go on to that. Straight up some internet. Is Wolcott East Hill is part of that East Hill.
Yeah, so
Wolcott Pond.
Well, it's all of Joanne's, yes. It's quite a lot through there.
It is.
that's a big chunk of land.
And then the big chunk on the south side. It's to here.
It's like,
Yeah, the Noshing says the big.
Big
But it's,
line down
yeah,
Right, yeah, that's not a concern.
the noise coming out of an office is more than a per thing.
Right, so the issues sometimes with campgrounds is the noises will be in the middle of the night, so.
That's not an issue as far as I'm concerned.
Here's another one, this one.
It, you know, bottom service was more than a year ago.
Yeah, flipping through, start to through.
Last summer might have been her first. Since Yeah. So it's correct. Conditional use review criteria. Uh, Some of it applies, well, that's some of it's, most of it's all about subdivisions. We can go through it for the things that actually apply. So the general conditional use standards, the capacity of existing or planned community facilities or services. Personally see minimal impact on that. Existing pattern and use of development in the area affected. Probably doesn't change much of anything there. You're still using your ag land as ag land. Traffic on roads and highways in the vicinity. Would you just be able to estimate how many road trips could be attributed to the campground per day
Um,
on average?
it's been slower this year than past years. For instance, during COVID, people were camping locally more because they couldn't travel. So it's not a lot of travel.
Well, I kind of believe you. It's a class 3 road. It's designed the same way as Campground Road is. I think it's about 5% of the traffic. But other places, it's just. That's all right.
Yeah, just not sure of everything.
Twenty 22 also.
There's no. And it's from 22. And it's. Oh, this one right here. Yeah, as you can see, that's what's going on the largest sections.
Yes,
Can't
that
go away.
was one.
21.
Well, yeah, that was well before Bob and Sarah's.
Right.
That was the one that was out on Jones Day.
Right, yes.
Off of Jones, yeah.
Oh, I can't open because they're working on it. I couldn't get access. It was easy enough to, when did I get there? I tried to put it in the Google. That's the one I go right now.
Is it just the agenda?
Is it like Horizons Farm and that's right?
It's not.
Like Horizons Farm.
No.
All of these will be Google, uploaded to the Google, open up.
Yeah, that's all right.
On the chat, but that's about accessibility.
So as far as conditions, what I could think of would be the point time from 10 to whatever the town ordinance says actually. Is that 10 to 8 or is it 10 to?
I got to know, then they use it. The other one is April to November and stick to that, very.
It's really not gonna make any difference on whether we approve or not, whether we approve for the whole year or for April to November.
Might as well put it for the whole year.
So. Is there any other questions? Entertain the motion of approving permit number 2482C, with the condition that it meets the quiet time requirements of the Wolcott town ordinance.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Can we get a vote from Mike?
Michael, are you online?
Just listen, because I can hear, so the audience can. All right, well, Michael doesn't vote. Yeah. Thank you.
Good, how you been? Yeah.
You know, for many minutes.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm there.
We could do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Closing application.
I got them there.
Next up, permit number 2485S. Pinnacle Lane. Owner's Mary Sweetser for a 3-lot subdivision. Splitting off 3 lots of like 28 acres. So does that mean 3 lots total or 3 lots plus the rest of the 28 acres?
3 plus.
Okay, so we actually have 4 lots subdivision.
Yes, I'm through the.
Mary Sweetser here.
Yes. And I just like from fan here so I can hear you.
Okay. So does anybody else in the audience here want to testify on this? So if you do, I'll have to swear you in.
Go ahead. I'm a property owner adjacent to Larry. I just came to listen and find out what's going on. So I've had a few questions, probably Larry could answer them, but. Albert, the man.
So to swear you in here, so you swear to tell the truth to the best of your knowledge, your penalty of perjury about this issue.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Maybe you could come up and give us a little lesson, you know, what exactly you're doing.
Okay.
15 this year.
Yeah, so let's see, this is Pinnacle Lane.
Okay, so it's actually coming up.
Right.
This
Goes all the way around, right here. All right.
So the entire 28 acres is what now, all of this here.
Yeah, all of this here. And. Yeah, everything was for 28 acres, now you can take 5.5 off it.
So the 28 acres goes from this point on Pinnacle Lane.
No,
Okay, that's me. So, zero.
Yep.
So this is lot, so the lot 1, 2.
the rest of it is too colorful. That's what
Your lot is all of this.
correct.
Okay. And this is the power line.
This was approved. Already septic system stuff we've already done, but it was done as. A lot. Yeah. Now, what I'm doing is I'm separating it. Help, these two lots here, actually selling to a friend of mine. And he's just built a house in Maidstone, and he's thinking of this for retirement. All of his family, kids and stuff are down this way. He figures when he gets to the point where he can't maintain his property up there on the lake, that he'll sell and down to a small place here. And he bought this other lot here, why this lot here, and it's to have in case one of his grandchildren or whatever, or there's kids, need to come and take care of them.
So this lot 8, 2 goes from here to here, to here, to here, to
Right.
what now is it?
Yep, this goes up through here. This is Albert's land, which is right next to it.
So this proposed subdivision land on line is for lot 2.
Yes, this splits out here, yes.
And this goes, this stays with.
This piece here, continues still with this.
Okay.
And it's continuous. This one isn't, that's the reason I have to do the third lot. And I'm gonna try to sell that. Just so that,
Okay. This is the parcel right there.
yes. We're very, I'm very cool. Right. It's 15 and there's Pinnacle Lane, goes through both. According to the engineers and the surveyors, that Route 15 corridor that's qualifies because of the road width here. Be able to be an acre and a half instead of 2 acres. It could even be an acre, I guess, but the road going through and everything else, it makes it so.
Right, but this lot 8-1 is going to include this.
Yes.
Okay.
This is back design, and what they've done is all the well shields and septic tanks and everything else, so with it, according to where the neighbors and everything else are, make everything legal.
So how much road frontage is on Pinnacle Lane here? It doesn't
They've
really
got
say,
220 there.
right?
That's a bit. So, I didn't bring it in, I didn't bring it over. You need road frontage on both roads if it's.
No.
Just,
Well, no, but so on, if you were using the Route 15, so from
Right.
600 feet,
oh, I see. Yeah.
but on here, you don't. Because you have it's both sides theoretically, you're gonna double whatever that is, right here.
Yeah,
But it's probably.
Feet, there's 100 feet. So 1 inch is 100 feet.
At this point.
Just shy of 2 inches.
It's up.
And this lot is 2 acres.
Some storage.
Frontage for this one is. This
This
road,
road here comes up in here, was going to put the driveway in, south eventually up there. This just comes up, this road comes up and then driveway.
and this road has a name here.
It's just Pinnacle Lane at the moment.
That's also Pinnacle Lane.
Pinnacle problems around that. Well, Pinnacle, yeah. We haven't named the road, it's a private road.
Right. So.
This is here, and it's right here, the town hall and town and right here. That comes all the way around here.
I see on here that it's definitely. This.
Technical events there. I don't know if you would continue it as a private road and still call it Pinnacle Lane. Not sure about that. And then we had this discussion with some other people about winding off. Which ones, whatever name you come up with. You Y off like this, it becomes an issue with the 911 addresses. You know what I mean? So
At the moment, I'm 339 Pinnacle Pine. My substitute is right here.
So all of this is considered driveway.
Yes. So that's just, yeah, that's this point here. I go for 3. And circle it directly.
so
That address probably stems from this location on the road.
Or the beginning of Pinnacle Road, where's that?
So it's clear.
Yeah, it's probably from the beginning of it. Oh, what's the address?
333.
So it's not, okay, for sure. So I think, yeah. Oh,
339, be like a third of a mile.
yeah,
Don't hold me to it, but if I remember right, I think this, in my calculations, was about 900 feet. I think I put on another 900. That's only 5%.
so I guess it's 900 feet,
What's the access for this third of a mile?
yes,
What's the access right
here?
here?
Right,
Right off. Bottom of Pinnacle.
Carol's property is here. This is Carol's. And out back is mine. It is stuff too. So if it's got in anywhere that there would be a house, houses and septic and stuff.
so how would you designate, this would be designated Pinnacle something, 200 and something Pinnacle Drive, how do you designate this?
So I think what Jim's saying is that town road ends here, this becomes a private road.
Oh,
Needs to be a different name.
right, well,
I'm just the urban here, we
Yeah.
haven't run into that before where the town road ends and then it
Becomes
continues
private.
as a private road. I see that where it continues as like a class 4 road. It's still a town road.
so the 339 must be here then.
That's what I was thinking of.
339 is just 28.
Yeah, because this is the
It has to
beginning
be
of the
on Pinnacle
driveway.
Drive.
This is the beginning of the driveway as it exists right now.
Right.
So the driveway will become road. And then.
Southern Road, yeah,
Is that this is put down because it has to be done for the state? To be honest with you, he's not planning on doing any of this for. He may put a camper up here on the septic or something. I have no idea, but it's yeah, graduation party there last weekend.
So right now that's 28 acres. Where's the frontage? Private road, 50-foot driveways, this starts as a driveway up here.
This is open from here. I know it's all the way up to here.
Well, I think what Jim's asking is this lot compliant as it is right now? It might be
Okay, yeah, yeah, if it's all one lot,
Right,
yeah.
so then where does it exist if this is subdivided off, right?
Well, that becomes the issue of, this becoming a private road, and now it has road frontage here.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think they did this as, it's gonna be private road all the way to here. When they did this, and the driveway comes off and
right, and then
mine this road goes all the way to here.
because this Y's off, you would need, this would have to be a second road.
Okay.
Then this road. Yeah, let's get more tricky here, because the road definition, you have to be primary access to two or more lots.
Right.
Which this would be that. I'm gonna assume unless it has. Boundary for this 8.3 is gonna be here. So if the road ends, say here. At least two lots access. It's about 150 feet.
Here to there.
Well, no, from here to from here. To here, so we should have. But I'm trying, well, that's. There's another problem. Yeah, so it would actually be just from here, from this point, or from this point, really. To basically this point.
This is a 50-foot right of way from Pinnacle. It's here to here. So this is the road, the private road you're considering, right to here. Is that what you're saying, Jim? This becomes the private road.
Right, and so,
Then
right,
this frontage is in question.
so the private road would be.
Oh, the whole thing, okay.
Yeah, that would be like one, one private road.
See, yeah, this private road wouldn't continue all the way to here, like it does.
So I think what you can do to solve this, check, is if this is a separate from here, it meets the criteria of two lots.
Right.
This, as a continuation of this road, is all eight lots, right? So it's certainly more than two.
If it's Pinnacle Lane that continues
Right.
out there.
Right.
Oh, it is, for the simple reason is that be changing mailing addresses and everything else after being there to here, 13 years or whatever.
Where is the driveway in relationship to where this
Mine?
stone Christopher Brittany's?
There's this is right. Over this
Right, okay, I was curious if they were still in the town road, if they were on,
No, right.
they're still.
They border the town.
Oh, they
But the
border,
driveway
okay.
is.
It's not.
No, these the two lots you're thinking of. Yeah, just three, one of the two.
Three.
Yeah, they're your property. It's over here, right, it comes back in here somewhere and meets Carol's. Yeah, here this. Yeah. Yeah, this is Carol's, it comes from here. This way, and this way. So, what if you just made this the road? And this is just.
Right, but that's what I was looking at.
50.
Well, it's true, there might. But it's open to the property. So. That's probably, yes, about three, right?
Yeah, not three.
Probably use less than 100 feet there.
Then we need 150 on this one as well.
Well, that one. Be. Here.
Yes. That's right.
From your existing permit. That's through from against me.
Yes.
More probably double.
Right.
For the state and.
Remember over there, you know. 3 and 5, I can't. Yeah.
It's five, Mark.
American spot. All right. Oh,
Yeah, yours is.
I'm 3, okay, that's what I thought, I wasn't.
So. Yeah, so it just becomes this, if this had stayed a private road all the way down through, I wouldn't have any question at all. Town took it over to here. Actually, it doesn't go to state. I'm looking at this like the town took it over to here, but. It does. But
Isn't that where the turnaround is?
Yeah.
Where the turnaround is, from there on, that's where I built. This road to the. Trying to do it to the town specs, I think, until we get all the stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it's.
So this is the town turnaround over here. So this is Pinnacle, so.
Yes.
So that's the turnaround?
Yeah, the person's house is right there.
so that would technically be the end of that road.
Which from the end of that road, there's got to be more. That stops right here.
That makes this same. It doesn't have one. Unless it counts as private road,
That's something different.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, that's something that would have to be cleared up.
And the thing you're talking about is this, well, if you made this a private road, then is this frontage here that you're mostly concerned with?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's,
there's not enough frontage for that.
well, actually, it said that this 28 acres comes down to here, right?
Here, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, all right.
Okay, yeah.
So,
This is my property, right there.
so you just have to clarify that this is going to be a private road from here to here. We don't care about this. Right? If you accessing this, that becomes a driveway here. But otherwise, you're gonna have, it's gonna split off into two roads.
You split a private road off another private road and.
You can, but then you gotta,
Subject to definition.
it's gotta be the access for two or more lots,
Right,
primary access.
right.
It can't stay Pinnacle Lane because the town is not maintaining it.
I don't know. I have no idea about that. I'm just kind of, like, I've never seen a situation where town road ends, but the name stays the same and it's a private road. I don't know, just because I haven't
What did
seen
the
it.
last, I wonder what the last permit thing said on it, because that was.
It was all private at that point. But the town took this over like within the last couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
But apparently they should take it over all the way to.
To clarify just a little bit, is this one,
Yes.
is this A2?
Yes.
Is this A3?
Yes.
And how many is there going to be altogether? 800. Is there going to be, are you going to divide the rest?
No. I'm not doing anything with it now. I won't say down the road, somebody doesn't come along and want this whole property over here, I get rid of it. The older I get, the harder it is to take care of it. But
Right. Yeah, we're not holding it. Right now it's 4 lots. You got 1, 2, 3, because that the rest is.
That's what I'm.
Yeah.
And that means that everything this side of those lots is already pre-owned and I own the outside of that lot. Yeah. Right?
only reason I'm selling this one off is because it isn't gonna be continuous to my property. And I don't know if anybody's gonna buy it or not, but I mean, it's. The mailbox is down in here. To give you an idea. But it's.
I think it's finance it.
This one is on both sides of. You're saying your address is like 339
Pinnacle Lane.
339.
So thinking that's this point here.
That doesn't really make much sense because usually.
So I have-
About 1,700 feet. Right, 0.339 miles.
So 339 is a third of a mile. It's probably.
A little less. Close to 700.
All right,
It's the acreage on each of those.
Two in an acre and a half.
The acres on this side are there and the other half's on this side.
I don't, they didn't break it down to that. It's all total.
So this is right frontage to this or that, which is counter.
well,
Has room frontage on both, but
it does, but this is the one that matters.
Yes.
Okay, because you need 600 feet on Route 15.
So you could pull the driveway off there, right?
No, right now. I mean, you could
Right.
come in from this side, but I don't, there's probably not an acre there.
Oh, actually, that's it right there, 0.56.
This is-
A ledge.
Plus or minus 1.5 stops, that's the whole thing.
Okay.
Nice solid ledge.
It seems to be just getting too confusing. I don't know why. Pinnacle and it can't continue them and it's just another driveway.
Well, Valley.
Yeah. You got simple. And this is a new private.
There.
no, this one already exists.
You can't
Well,
continue something that's named as town road, yeah.
Well, I don't.
It's a town.
Well, it would have to be adopted.
This is a town.
Right.
That's the thing.
Private road off of that.
Right,
So it has to be.
I would think.
Down to take it over.
Harold's comes off.
That was fun.
What I do?
No, I didn't do anything. I said, yours comes off Pinnacle Lane. It's an address of Pinnacle Lane.
Yeah.
And there's people that are beyond the turnaround place. They're here, that has a driveway over here. They're on Pinnacle Lane.
What's your address?
Number 46.
Oh.
So they can, does everybody know the address of these folks?
Yeah, that's what.
You're coming. 15, you're number 11. And on the first one on the right, after you turn the car,
Yeah, it has to be, yeah, you're right.
46. And he is right next to me.
Something I can free.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Doesn't seem like, to your question, Tom, that you could take a road that has a name, add on a private road and call it the same name. I just added it there. Can we add private roads to a regular road?
See right now, but I would.
Well, it could become a private road. It's a little-
A private road, but you can't name it the same as some public road.
I would think not.
Why can't you continue the same name? Why? Why can't you continue the same name on the same road?
I'm only assuming that maybe you couldn't, but no, I don't know that you can't.
I think because
I hate to fight in this case, but I. Driving down the road and it is absolutely positively insane to change the name for another 100 feet or a few hundred feet. You're driving on that road, it's the same name road.
But that's not the basis on which somebody would decide, that's all I'm saying. If there's a regulation there, something that says you can't or can.
It comes to a point where it's no longer a public road, it's a private road.
It's
the same name.
It's just
Right.
right here, it's 339 right now. And so I'm using that.
Well, 339 is here.
No, this whole lot.
It's called that, but this is the point they used to name it 339. They came up here at 339,000.
Three lots, so 3 lots.
No, I don't know either.
Well, that's what I think it's a question on it. It seems like this would be.
It's Carroll Mountain Line.
Closer to 239.
All the way down to
250. But
GPS.
it's actually 330.
It goes from down here.
330. Yeah, 339, and I'm higher than he is. So that doesn't-
Private road. Of course, finally, I have a private road
This is.
onto the other road
With this.
and not through. GPS.
It wasn't.
I think we get public access.
What's the number? It's. What'd you just say?
That's not public, that's
They
started at your place and numbered the other direction down
It looks like,
Never does that.
I know what, the 46.
that would be what this would be confusing. No, that's how you.
Highway.
I was just had a question while we're talking about it. It's obviously under the 2 acres, so you can do that with a certain amount of road frontage, right, or something, or.
Within 1,000 feet.
Within a certain distance.
Route 15.
Then, okay, but then. a certain
Distance,
distance.
115.
Okay. Oh,
That's the minimum size.
So it's 1,000 feet?
1 acre. And 1,000 feet is roughly almost where the power line is, and then it cuts off, comes down.
Okay, so technically I could possibly subdivide my section someday. I'm like almost 3 acres.
3 acres? You're within the 1 acre zoning?
I don't know. I don't know. It's not massive.
You could unless there's covenants in that subdivision.
Right, which I think there is. I think it might be.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, I just was curious.
So yes.
Back and we'll do it
I
tomorrow.
was just curious.
Everything
Because
that's within.
I got some kids getting older.
Everything within 1,000 feet of 15. And you still access off the Pinnacle Lane. It would be 1 acre, 1 acre zone.
There's one question there, if you.
Just a little side shot in the middle of his thing. Are you ready? Wolcott. To do the subdivision on my lot from 1 lot to 3 lots. I have the land and it's been designed by Outback, which was that same foot. It's been designed and some of the information I see is on here.
Yeah.
But it has not gone through for Wolcott's blessing on it, simply because if I finish the subdivision of it, then I get taxed on 3 different lots. And if I had done that when I started, I would have paid probably $20,000 or more of taxes by now on that, in addition to what I already paid. So I haven't done it.
Well, it would be an issue of road frontage. Yeah, you know, if you, I don't know what the rest of this looks like. I know Pinnacle Lane comes down to Route 15 like this. If you're subdividing things in the interior of your property, you're gonna run into the same thing that we're talking about here, where you need to extend some private road up into there. So that each of those lots will have 150 feet of road frontage.
So they have that private drive. That private drive, there's now, serving this house, we service all 3 of the houses.
As long as it's built to the highway standards. And we're not talking like necessarily class 3 standards, but it's highway standards for the vehicle. The average vehicle trips per day is apparently what they do. So each house, they figure an average of, you know, I do 4
So
trips
to
a
the
day.
right, it's probably would end up having to put a little more gravel on the driveway.
You might have to, maybe not, I haven't seen the driveway, so.
So you're saying that if there's a private drive accessing, then you have 150 feet along each side of it? Or 100 on one side?
Well, it depends on the driveway, on the road frontage. I mean. The way the intent was, I believe, is that it should be 150 feet on one side of the road. Right. But a lot of times we'll run into a situation where a road will dead end like this.
Yes.
Somebody's got a big lot, they just want to build their house right here. We'll allow them to count 75 feet on this side, 75 feet on that side. Rather than make them run a road up into here and turn it out or something, to get 150 feet, all built to road standards.
The reason they didn't put the rest of that road in up through here is because dealing with these lots over here, so that's where they stopped it. But the road does hopefully get through here.
so we can have road frontage on a private drive.
Not a drive.
It's not a private road.
It's to be a road, yeah. Be a private road, absolutely. And, you know, we've had people come in here and say, oh, driveway's perfect. And, you know, we do not enforce. We just say, this is what you need. It's how you have to do it. You're supposed to do it. Someday, maybe somebody will enforce.
Or you're trying to sell
Or you try to sell it, they come up and they look and you've got a wagon ruts.
I've seen Pinnacle one way. Ellen Road.
But you're saying that you can subdivide off as long as the private road meets the criteria.
Oh, they have to have 150 feet. The lots have to be a particular shape also. They can't be seriously dog-legged. I mean, this one's got a funny shape to it, right? But there's an area of it that you can fit along the roadside, a 2-acre lot that's a regular shape, and it's all here about. At one point, in the last 5 years, if you had a funny shape, it's going to be no subdivision at all. Which ran, a lot of people were running into problems, you know, as you take a big lot. And you cut it in two, and now it's more than 3 times as long as it is wide, even though it's like 80 acres. You know, that just didn't meet the definition, but we changed all that.
Oh, okay.
So,
Do we have any requirements for a homeowners association?
now, you know,
Okay.
it's right
There is covenants, it's what that is.
covenants.
Yeah.
Um,
So these will have the same covenants as the other deeds that were written? Or do everybody have a different covenant?
Lot 8 is different. I'd have to go into the covenants and look, to be honest with you.
you'll have to- that's gonna be between you and
Yeah.
the rest of these people.
Right.
What else?
Because we don't have any rules about that.
No.
Okay.
Lot 8 was the one that wasn't existed. That one is separate from all the others.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't
part
have-
of this development.
7 original lots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 7. So what I'm hearing you say is that you think Pinnacle Lane goes to here.
All along, open it, goes long enough just for me my mailing address, but that's. That doesn't change, but
So, yeah, so even if it does go to here, this would have to become a separate private road.
by Henry Drive or what I'm guessing.
So if Pinnacle Lane actually ends here, that would be more of an issue because now you've got a private road that's gonna have to just come here if your driveway would start. Because again, you have to. Private road has to access 2 or more lots off.
Why is that an issue?
Which one?
Oh, the second one where you said, you know, this road, this becomes a private road. There's no issue with this, it's just a driveway?
Right.
Right, okay.
Stays Pinnacle Lane.
Hopefully, so.
I don't think we can decide. No, this is, that's. This might be something for. That's
not what's
figured out. You know, where does Pinnacle Lane end and where does driveway start? I don't know.
And it wouldn't make any difference if when that was put in, it doesn't, you know, the paperwork say private road.
In the original subdivision, it shows Pinnacle. It must show Pinnacle Lane on that original.
The original one it does. But that talks about when I guess the put this into this.
Yeah, right, that's all right. Good.
You get a subdivision permit from
Down there?
I do something because I had to go through active.
Did you write this?
Well, active safety's not us.
No,
That's
I-
completely different.
I had to put it into roughly the town specs and the state specs.
Pretty much like it was, I get a different or something.
It's not, I guess, the biggest deal in the world.
No, I mean, it's not that you can't do this, it's just.
Oh, I don't know. Programs.
Like I said, a lot of it has to do with, is there
Oh, they put a well.
plaque that shows Pinnacle Lane going all the way to here, to here, and all it is Pinnacle Lane.
Yes.
Because otherwise, if it really ends up here, then this becomes its own private road.
Something else in the week.
In which case you want to go down here and make that all a private road, so you've got, it's accessing one to the ends.
That's why they're driveway.
Yeah, people, some stories they have.
They're listed as Pinnacle Lane. And they just came down those golf holes right here and went in their driveway to start with. And I threw them off.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
I think you're.
30, 40 feet. Actually, it goes into their yard. I didn't do that. So, yeah.
That's nice, yeah.
I mean, but that's neighborly.
Yeah, pick up the bank, right?
Yeah. We went in to look, so we got the wall, the ledge we could get in. And
I just have a couple questions, Mary or whoever may answer them. Obviously, we have a well in here. This is the protection area. I get that. This is my property here. Your well is there, which is like 30 feet from the property line. Is there like limitations to which, does it have to be, can it be more? How's that work out? Like, so we're not, because I know I can't, obviously you can't put a septic in. That's the point, correct? So if I want to subdivide it someday.
septic, yeah.
Right, I think that's wrong. I was just curious as to what the.
We don't regulate that at all. At one point, we tried to on the last subdivision rules, we wanted to make it so that he would have to get a consent from people. State said it does, so can't do that. So the state rules are that he only has to give you notice. That's it.
Okay.
So there's no or anything.
Boundaries or, like how many feet, but, I just was curious.
Yeah, Carol's well is 5 feet on my land.
Not that it's an issue, I was just, because there's plenty of things.
No,
there's plenty of land.
no. I did not. Well,
You didn't put it on, but I'm just saying, to your help.
That was way before I ever bought the land.
Or
It
anybody.
was there.
I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah, it's placed way before me.
Yep.
For the ones that are going to make the decision on this. It's the secretary. You three are the ones who make the decisions on this. Service.
So that if we are.
And one guy on the computer screen who's listening in. That's why I was holding my camera here so he could see what we're
Who's
saying.
that?
Mike Perry.
So he doesn't, the microphone's not working.
Yeah, I'm chatting with him, so he was
Yes. Let's see, what you think about this.
Mike, if you can hear us, and you can get in the chat, or you can talk, do you have any thoughts, concerns? Anything you've been able to see so far? If you're able to talk.
I have two projects that I want to discuss. Rather than going through the complete, pay the $3,000 to get started. I've
You
already
come
done
in for a
that.
sketch.
Huh?
You come in for a sketch.
Now, I would let Kit Shavir show you the plans
Mhm.
and pick it up from there.
Yeah.
They're both issues that I started way back, but things came to whatever, and they all got tabled. And they need to get done before I leave, so somebody else has to do it. I would like to do it, get it done.
Yeah, you just, there's no fee for a sketch. It's $50.
I've already paid $3,000 on it.
I didn't put any of it. Yes, it's $50.
It's not a walk, I got nothing.
No, he bought that just in case. One of his grandchildren or one of his kids.
Okay.
There.
It'll be the three of us making the decision.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough, personally, I don't think we have enough information to make a decision.
This whole road situation.
Right.
So where are we at on this thing? Well, we recess to next month to figure it out? Or just a road issue?
Yes.
We'll do that tomorrow.
You could do that tomorrow, look into that.
I don't see that's the problem. Just. This guy. He's beyond it.
Right, but you said he came in out here,
Have to change his head.
not make his driveway.
So you just
wasn't
call that road and say it's okay.
That's the question.
Just remember that
You're comfortable. That was not very far.
extending,
Yes.
Yeah.
The original.
Can I extend my driveway?
Reason you can't do that, because if you did call it, if I brought in the papers.
No, like he's asked me the answer to the.
When the engineers did it,
He said,
it's
obvious, it's an extension.
every one of them lots.
All the wrong lot. Like me.
I just
For Carol's.
Right.
He said that's what you were talking about. We were talking about subdividing or parts down, so you have to pay taxes on each one. That road is.
Yeah, so don't do it until you have.
That's what I'm saying. Because the town control. The other one that I have, not this one, but the other project.
Seems odd to be.
I had already gone through and it was creating 14 lots.
Well,
Richard,
could you walk it around?
approve my.
I'm just saying that you can name
But
that.
I did not finish with
Saying as an officially.
because of that issue on the taxes.
It's the.
If I finish the part of it right now, I could sell some. But I stopped because I didn't want to pay taxes.
Not how they
At
judge.
the time, land wasn't moving. Well, it wasn't. I figured that.
Yeah, so if you want the board to look at the schedule of time.
I could bring the plans along and tag it after you get done on the next meeting on him. I could bring it along and just show you both of them. And pick up for what you have for an in-feed to me, what next to do.
Yep.
I would plan on.
Yep.
I'll plan on bringing those.
Maybe an application.
And it wouldn't take you very many minutes to make a decision one way or the other on what to do. But it's pretty straightforward.
So Tom, does Tom want us to push this
I don't know what
with conditions?
That's why I came.
Good.
Just to get a little in-feed on.
I can tell you right now that, and this as far as I'm concerned, I've heard from other concerns from these guys, that we would approve this whole thing. But we just need to clarify what's going on here.
Appreciate it. But Tom's gonna do some research.
That's what he was saying.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I mean. This Pinnacle Lane, this whole thing should be on the subdivision application that the rules did, I think. When they did this whole thing. And, you know, regardless of whether the town took it to here, if they actually show the road coming into here, well, that's Pinnacle Lane. You know, maybe the town said you're just taking it over up to here, there's no sense in plowing on the way down.
This was their first attempt to have the taken over. And then they did it like 3 or 4 times and this was the original, and that's why it stopped right there. It's because that's where the town made it in.
Because it gets rust.
And that's what we're around right here.
But you did that, you can't have Pinnacle Lane going to here and Pinnacle Lane coming down.
No, this would have.
This has to have a new name.
This is just the driveway. This is the mailbox here. This is the driveway. This is the road. It's very simple.
You're saying that this is Pinnacle?
Yeah, it's a continuation.
So
Are
does
you
that mean the
sure?
town's gonna take this over?
No, no. You have to ask them to. It might, if you fix it up to town standards, it might, but they're not gonna take it over as it is.
It was the town standards at one time. I'm sure it isn't now. It's just like I found out with everything else.
On the satellite, you can see, you know, the distinct difference between here versus here. What's the route?
I think you would have a major problem on road grade width and et cetera. Passing that point for the town road, dropping down that grade,
How much of it is?
well, I don't know how much it's changed, but where they turn around, it drops, and this is across a valley, and let's face it, it's a pond there. Why is there a pond?
When I put that road in, I went to the guys, the road guy that was ahead of the road thing and everything else. And I said, if I was ever to turn around, would you like a roundabout back there or the other? He said, I hate roundabouts. He said, you have to do a hammerhead. And that's what I did and stuff. But as I say, what town specs are now, and that's not what I'm trying to do is get the town to plow the trail. Right now. No, I mean, that would be somewhere down.
Are you planning or desirous to have the town road extend from here up there?
That's what I was. That's
As far as name wise, it would be nice if it was, because then I wouldn't have to change my address, but.
Are you going to want to do that?
on the other 20-something acres, is that what you mean?
Not sure. I don't.
Are you going to attempt to get extending the town road beyond here?
No, I no, no, this is private from here. But I'm still hoping to call it in
So this house is.
that house, the garage is there.
All right, let's see,
Where's the pond? There's where that new road would come off. This is the existing driveway.
You see the hammer up there that I put in, that's what he would prefer, but as I say, I just said, while I'm doing it, I might as well do it to that. The road doesn't look quite so much, but I mow probably from here to the wall, grass is growing through. So, as I say, the road is,
So. Most people.
That's the turnaround.
People looking for. So they're kind of. Educational. I've never gone through this process, it's educational far.
Oh.
so that's.
So I don't know.
And their address is
It's gone through our sign. Turn these 3 lots.
Oh,
And I'd love for these guys to buy it. I'd love for them to he can own the house.
yeah,
So
yeah.
no, you have to see.
Oh, you wanna sell to them?
And his kids can have 2 lots right next to it.
How much more for
A couple pennies.
Depends on the copper or not. You know what?
Depends on his cash or check.
Yeah, I know. It might be pretty valuable.
Or are we gonna go? No.
Not very valuable. So, well, they're more valuable. They're metal than
Oh, yeah,
they cost what, 3 or 4 cents a minute
to make it one.
Yeah, possible that you keep the number.
would be nice.
Probably the very last one's in here, will probably have a bad one.
Well, this is the last one ends, private road begins. If you keep the same name or not.
I didn't know their grandfather.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of numbers between mine and what they start out with at 43. There's only about 7.
So.
Somebody bring a skunk?
No.
That's fine.
The number's the measurement from the beginning of the road up to your.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, it's just.
Thousandths of a mile. So 330, whatever is 3.33 miles.
Oh, okay, that's how it works.
And that's why we're guessing, given the distance, that your number ends where the town roads ends right here.
This guy's 239.
Well, yeah, maybe
Three
up
up
to there.
293 here.
Yeah.
So this house is 293. Side, there is side number.
293.
293.
Okay, so it sounds like maybe this point's where they picked it up or something.
Yeah.
There's a fire hydrant. Yeah.
Oh, so.
I plow all that, so their access.
Yep. So Tom's gonna figure that out. Tomorrow. I'm done. Yep. So, I wanna go. So the decision is to. Wait until we have that, or make an approval.
I would say, yeah. Yeah.
I can't do the 250 one, so I get everything cleared through the tank.
So it's like 250.
It's in, this whole piece of property is in at 250. So I have to go to all of their specs as well.
The whole development.
That sort of stuff, but I don't know.
It would have been nice if it did. Sure, you're $30,000. It would save.
Measure, I'd say your engineer with the price of 50, right?
So how many lots were in here? Right, 250 got involved in.
No, Act 50 was fine. This was actually gonna be 2 lots. This was gonna be 2 lots. That was another, so there was gonna be 4, there was that, there could have been 5, according to the engineer for all of this stuff, but that's not what I'm doing. It's too much, too clustered. What's your believe on the guys and stack?
Well done, it's right up nice.
Sure not gonna turn it into 16 now.
No,
High rise subdivision.
I know it's not because the soil takes, take the effort.
no, they claimed that the soil was good enough over here that you could put every one of those properties into the septic right over there. Yeah, there was a certain kind of sand or something that they said was over in that area.
Remember the day that I dug the perk holes?
Yeah.
64 perk holes I dug that day and covered. And they ran them through. I think that's the most engineer ever lived in his life.
Is that right?
One day. Yeah. 64 holes.
That's changed now too. Septic, the septic,
Yeah.
chances are the ones you got approved as well as mine. They got a double in size now, or put mounds in. That's what I just had to do with all this.
Well, that was one of the questions.
That they all know? That or not? I said they're all done.
These are all, this is the existing.
Right.
That one, I put that in, but this one is double the size of what it was, because it's a regular system. And they do the extra piping and stuff with it, so you never have to do it again. So this one. They did put it down, it could have been either. But
That's the
I
one.
think they put the mound in to get extra money.
What's the kind of on the slope or something, but like you go up Carroll's driveway, or something, is that where?
Yeah, that's where it levels off up there.
So one of the things about.
Well, you don't for these now, I guess. Now that they doubled them in size, it takes the replacement all in, and they're trying to pressurize them. So that they all, pipes get it all equally or something, just not.
Yes, they have a pump station. That's not cheap. All right, so
Basically, what you're saying is it will pass, just gotta get.
we just gotta
something
clarify.
Clarify
what
which
the situation is. Yeah.
Over the road frontage from the.
Yeah. So, like I said, bearing in mind that a private road has to be the primary access to 2 or more lots. And you have to have at least 150 feet of road frontage on that private road for each lot.
And see, I think that's what this was the house like, this was the house like, that's right.
Well, it makes sense, absolutely. Yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter.
He just didn't put it in the rest of the. Well, reason because they weren't working with that part of it.
On the subdivision, the original subdivision should show it. That should have been delineated on the plot.
Didn't bring the original. I think I've got anything that shows up there.
Really standard for 2006, 6. Is that when you want to get by titles? 2006,
The future?
I don't know. Anything that.
Oh, I didn't know if that was, talking about that. I didn't know if they were, that's planned. I didn't buy your place.
Sort of, he's a nice name, but I'd give it to him.
Is it for?
He's not right, so any more than that.
All right. So when you have a date for the fourth Wednesday of the meeting?
The 23rd.
Could be the 23rd of July.
We're gonna do it sooner, I can get some kind of decision from the select board.
Would be a decision from the select board, or would just be looking at the plat or the original subdivision here for Pinnacle to see where that road actually goes. I mean, you can reach out to us and, or everybody. I'm open to come in before 4 weeks.
Yeah, same.
Some limitations, but usually.
I can try to bring down one of the original ones that shows that the engineer did in the beginning, but it's like 15 lots. He'd come along, but I'm not.
That'll just confuse us.
Okay.
Here's that thing.
Okay, let me see if I can find one that shows.
Maybe our other 2 members will be here, Mike Purdy usually does a lot of good input on these things. He's also on the select board. Those he was on the select board and the town took over Pinnacle Lane. Very much. I don't think so. This is only been on for a year.
So if you come up with another meeting, we neighbors be informed. Or it's not that.
Did you get? No, I don't think you'll be informed.
If you tell me how it's gonna
The
be.
meeting will have to be more.
Yeah, a lot of people, I could send notice that everyone was here. But then when I originally sent it, we didn't show up.
Right, only the people that have shown up here.
If I should Tom notice, he can notify you.
I don't know, it's really pissed me.
I missed that.
Did you send this other members that aren't here that would be here? Yeah.
Could be theoretically.
Who are they?
Maxfield English and Michael Parody.
Mike was actually.
Mike got to tune out, I think.
Yeah, he wasn't able to get us any input.
Yeah, I didn't get a message from him.
Zoom doesn't really work for these meetings.
Yeah, so I was afraid I was gonna do that, so no one's gonna make it.
I don't know if you saw, I tried to use my phone,
Yeah.
and that puts it in the record, and these videos go on YouTube,
Oh, they do.
so you can watch them later if you want.
It's hard, it's hard to get.
When you need to fall asleep.
This video gets on YouTube?
Yep.
On the left.
Oh.
Under what title?
If you search town of Wolcott, Vermont, you'll find everything from select board, the DRB, planning commission.
Turn around and smile.
You'll be here every month now, Carol. TV star.
There is a transcript, so Alice, if you want to just look at the transcript.
Sorry, I'm not gonna turn around and face the camera.
So do we need a motion to adjourn? Then we are gonna adjourn to what?
Do we have, table this, right? Motion to table this.
Right.
Award meeting or the July 23rd. Later tonight. So it's the 4th,
So we do the 23rd.
23rd of July or sooner. That's warm.
We can do that.
Did it have to be Wednesdays?
Not for me.
No, and remember the Wednesdays, you have select board on the 1st
Right.
and 3rd.
So we won't have, we wouldn't have Mark Perry.
So.
Does one have that motion?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Are we adjourning the meeting or are we tabling?
But,
We have to approve minutes.
oh, okay.
So forget that. I made a motion to table that. Okay,
So that's that.
and then that's done. You guys are good. Yeah, see, we approve minutes and then we can turn. Point of order.
Name and information for notifications.
That's actually good, sure.
No,
I know.
Maybe the email.
I'm doing something, don't.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
And we're, we're all just trying to chip in to serve the town, right? So
The road frontage on private road. An issue on every subdivision.
that's like the number one thing. Okay.
Honestly, if everybody saying, give me that, but nobody would do that.
We just need to have minutes from.
Have any minutes for us?
They're probably in my email. Quick peek on it. We were here a month ago, right? A month or 2 months.
Please.
Got April minutes. So 2 months ago, April minutes, want to look at them real quick. Minutes. Yeah, that's.
We don't have enough people to.
Table approving the minutes, so there's a motion to table it, and so we have a quorum of people that were at the meeting. There's no meeting. No.
Well,
Alright, so table that. You know, if we need a motion for that, Chris. Don't do it, but then I'll make a motion that we adjourn. Okay, that's.
Oh, yeah. I saw they had a party down there. That was.
Alright. Alright.
Yeah. My daughter was like, oh, no, check that out. Like, go ahead. What did you say?
somebody else's.